Hey, welcome back YouTube. It's your guy Big Herc 80. Today we're going to I bought the Ultra Cool kit for my 18 Street Glide with the built 124 S&S. I went on and ordered it because I've been in places where I had to stop, just sitting in traffic. And of course, these Harleys put off a lot of heat anyway. When you start going to a big bore kit and built motors, it's put off even more. I actually been in places where it was long enough I had to actually cut the motorcycle off. So I ordered this kit. We're gonna go ahead and open it up and get it installed today. Now, one thing, I also ordered the oil filter also, but I'm not going to do the oil filter today. I'm gonna wait until I do my do my oil change. One thing I will say about them, they sent this kit extremely quick. Seemed like I had it in about 3 or 4 days. There it is, Ultra Cool Oil Cooling, 3.0 dual fan assisted oil cooler. Oh, and the one I did have, I will have to modify the left lower fern. Ain't a big deal. So let's see what we got in the box. Let's see. Just hold it. There we go. Do it that way. Go ahead and put this to the side. Oh, and I did also ordered the oil filter. I went with the black one. Like I said, I didn't go with the chrome. You ain't gonna see that too much anyway. But they claim, I think this will lower the temp by 10 to 20 degrees also. And I never had to buy another oil filter. Alright, so like I said, here's the filter. I'm gonna set it to the side. Here's the directions and all the stuff I'm gonna need. See what else it comes with. Come with a hat. Harness. Cables. Alright, here's the star of the show right here. I always like to lay everything out on the table. That way I have it and make sure I have everything that it's supposed to come with. We'll look at these directions. Or all the tools required. Okay, got all my tools that I'm gonna need for this whole project out. I had to get a little more than what the directions was saying because of the lower fern. What we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the lower fern first. There is, let me see if I can get the light on to see, there's a 10 millimeter bolt through the top. Let me see if I can get in there and point to it. Right there. So that is 10 millimeter. I'm going to, of course, remove that one. We got to remove, of course, that one down there. These right here. But once I remove that 10 millimeter, this cover is going to come off. So let's start. Okay, we got that bolt removed. Now we're going to, and my bike is dirty. Normally ain't dirty, but I want to get this done. Take this off. Then there's 2 more 10 millimeter we're going to have to remove right there. Okay, I left that one on just to show y'all to finish me taking it off. I have removed all the other bolts. So we're going to take this last nut off, and it's lower. That's why I keep my magnetic box there. slower, it's free to come off now. Oh. Maybe if I fold that up. She's off. Okay, we got it off. I brought it up here to the table. The next step, it is telling me I gotta remove this inside plastic trim. They said it's just held on with 3M tape. So I'm gonna use this flathead screwdriver and just work my way around and pry it up. And then we'll go out and modify this. Now, the one thing that I haven't done yet is took the old filter off, because I got to put this bracket on. But before I get too far, I'm going to take the old filter off, put that new adapter on with this plug. Is to attach the frame clamps right here on the frame. It says use thread locker. It actually gave or sent some blue thread lock for the boats. Look like it is that way. There's one. I'll get my thread locker here in a minute. Fish this around. Let me go get my thread locker that it came with. Oh, let's take this off. Now, the way mine was, I needed to take this off first. There was no tape holding that on. Notice I wasn't coming. Got Allen screws behind that cover. This is a 5/8 Allen socket. So now, let me get my magnetic tray. With me, I always put my boats in the magnetic tray. Now, should come off a lot better. Yep. Pop right out. And what I'm gonna take is get all the 3 double-sided tape off. I'm gonna take a razor blade, just scrape it, get most of it off. Then I'll come back and clean it up better. Okay, what I'm gonna do next, 3 inches from the top corner down, I'm gonna mark it. I gotta cut that completely off. And then at the bottom, I'm gonna cut right here at the bottom, straight across at the bottom of this vent flap. Go straight across here. And then on the insert that went in here like that, I'm gonna have to cut. I'm gonna do it from the back, but I'm gonna cut straight down this line. Straight down that line. Cause all this is gonna be gone. I can't use any of it. So I'm gonna cut straight down through here so I can still have this part to go back on. there is 3. Let me see what size this is. I think it was 2.5 millimeter. No, 3 millimeter Allen heads. We got 3 of them, and I need to remove them so I can take this cover off. Flip it. Oh, it's already falling off. Flap mechanism. Now, fully separated. I'm gonna take these screws out so I don't lose them. And put them on my magnetic tray. Now we're back. Got it cut. Cut that off. Cut the extra piece as far as the R dam off of here. What I'm going to do now, the directions don't say it, but anytime I've had double-sided tape, I'm actually going to clean all this off with some alcohol, let it dry, and then reapply some double-sided tape that actually came in the box. Now, I did it a little different. What I did was put the double-sided 3M tape on the plastic piece first, the insert. I'm gonna peel off the red backing, then I'm gonna stick it down, then reattach it. Then put it all back together and move on to the next part. So, you see I got the cover back on. What I'm gonna do now is reattach the inside cover with those. On this one, it had 3 Allen heads that went 1, 2, 3. And they was pretty sure, was it 5/30 seconds? Oh no, it ain't 5/30. Ah, that's right. It wasn't 5, I think it was 3 millimeter. Always the last screw that gives you problems, ain't it? Starting to look back like it was before I took it apart. Now we're at the point, I never did remove the old filter, but now it's time to remove the old filter and put that adapter on. Now I removed the old K&N filter from, I'm gonna try to show you back there. Well, I noticed the gasket didn't come off, so I had to get a screwdriver and get that off. Make sure the gasket's off. I'm gonna wipe that off and then put the new adapter on.
Now, got the filter off. That stock thread right there in the center with the oil filter screws onto, that's a 7/8 socket. Got to remove that. So we're gonna do that now. It's out. So clean that off. You can see it's gone now. And we're gonna end up putting this one back in with the supplied new one. It's gonna go in just like this. We're gonna tighten it up with a 7/16 Allen. Oh, and make sure you tighten it up till it says 20 foot-pound of torque. Now it said make sure to use blued thread locker on this part. Don't take much thread locker to me. So that part, that is the adapter, and that's where the oil filter is going to screw into. The next steps is to attach the frame clamps right here on the frame. It says use thread locker. It actually gave or sent some blue thread lock for the boats. So what we doing, I'm gonna show you right here. It's gonna attach in that one. I gotta remove this one, and the top one's gonna be in that one. Using these with the washers. Okay, I got them started, and what you're supposed to do is lower this top clamp until it hits that cross member. I end up having to take these two bolts out. They're right here. Pretty sure they was 4.5 millimeter. I had to take them out to get to what I needed to. Now I'm gonna tighten them down because it says wait, but once you get down to this, tighten them down. And then we on to the next step. Connect the hoses before completely tightening the clamp bolts. So I'm going to connect these hoses here before I connect the, well, not that way, but this way, of course. I'm going to connect them before I tighten up the frame bolts. Okay, I got it mounted. I haven't tightened it up yet. Okay, now it says all these lines, or them lines, before I connect them. If I connect them back there, that's where they going. 1, 2. So I'm gonna oil them, get them on, and they gave a little wrench, or not a wrench, but a kind of a socket adapter to where you can just slide it right on the line and tighten it down. Okay, got the lines attached back there. I'm gonna tighten these up. The frame mount screws to hold this unit in place. After I tighten them up, tighten these up, I gotta put the oil filter on. Okay, got my seat off, but I gotta take
this off to get down to my battery. I've already removed each side cover, removed the 50 amp fuse. It went right there. I'm going to sit it over here on the table. Here is the wiring harness. I'm actually going to hook it up first per the instructions. And then I'm going to use this supplied plug to go in to here. It clips into there. See? So where it goes. So I end up taking that off probably, so it ain't just hanging. But yeah, plug that back in. I'm gonna get to my battery. These are all my custom dynamic lights. Got an amp also. But yeah, I'll unplug these, get that cover off, and we'll get to the battery. I think that just popped me up. Been a while since I had these out. It just pops off. See, move right out of the way. You gotta take his cover off for the battery to get to the positive. Negative is fine, but you can't get to the positive. Can't remember, I think it's a T25, I think. Torx 25. Is it a T40? Yep. And I try not to take too many wires off if I don't have to, so I ain't got to figure out exactly where they go back. And you just have to go back a little further and come right off. Cars are usually 10 millimeter. Yep. Yep. Me personally, I always take the hot off first, ground off next, and I put them back on in the reverse order. I put the ground on first, then the hot. So like I said, I hook the ground up first, then the hot. So now that cover I took off, can put it back on. Get my, like I said, T40. And then, like I said, the reason I do that, now I don't have to worry so much about where everything goes back. This went back in there. Spun it around. That snaps back in place. Now, this wire will connect to this wire per the instructions with this butt connector. And then once I crimp it, I always get a slight tug, always. Feed my cable through. Now this one wasn't stripped at all like the other side. Yeah, they really plugs right into the factory accessory that I'm not using. Now what I'm going to do, they were saying run it along the frame. I'm actually going to take the gas tank off and do like I did the amp wires. I'm going to run it under with all the other wires. So you got a, I don't know what size it is, but you got a bolt right here that needs to be removed. You got a Allen head right there, bolt to remove, and this console will come off. You gotta take the gas cap off, but the console will come off. Then the tank has 4 bolts, 2 back here and 2 on each side, and that tank will come right off. See, I have the console out. Now what I did have to do was unplug this connector. Pretty sure it's to the fuel pump, but I unplugged it and it runs up to that connector right there. Unplugged it, and then I think it's a vent line. I pulled it out, and then we got to pull this hose out too. And then you can take the tank off after you remove these bolts. And they are T40s. 1 on each side here. And I almost forgot, this fuel line right here, you gotta remove. What you do, pop up on it and that line will come out. Since the fuse was already out and I didn't want to try to hook the battery up and all that stuff when I was doing it earlier, I should have actually tried to crank it a few times with the fuel pump unhooked, and then would have made sure all the gas was out of that line. But I got a little plastic cup to catch whatever falls out. Oh, didn't even come out, so we good. Now we just lift the tank straight off. It does help that the gas tank wasn't full, but see what I mean? Now I can run that cable under this tray all the way to the front. It just pops off. For me, I think it's better to run the cables up through the backbone, whatever you want to call it, but where the factory ran all their wires. So I'm gonna feed the wires through there. Since I actually done my different than their directions and I ran the wires up the backbone, before I put the gas tank on and everything, I wanted to check it. I put my fuse back in, 50 amp fuse. What they sent was a jumper. What this is for, basically just to let you know if it's gonna work or not. So you cut it on, cut the bike on. Here's the harness, plug the jumper in. Cut that off. But yeah, so we are working. Y'all can hear the fans running. We're gonna unplug it, cut the bike back off. Now, all that's left is to put everything back together, which first, I'm going to put the gas tank back on. Excuse me. which is in reverse order. Which, put the gas tank back on, attach these bolts. That's already tidied back up, snap back up. Thought it was snapped all back in, but attach it. Like I've always said, or me and my wife have talked about it, I'm not a mechanic. Don't claim to be a mechanic, but I'm willing to try it. Line it back up to them bolts. Line everything back up. We'll have them two there. These two up here. I don't tighten any of them down until I got them all started. That way, if I got to make little adjustments, I can. Okay. Now we put the console on. Put that back. Didn't need to have to take it out. This one here. Got the gas tank back on. Got the gas tank back on. Now all I gotta do is put the lower on, my side cover, just really finish buttoning everything back up and we good to go.